Greetings and welcome to PinballHelp. Mike here. Today I'm continuing work on this 1985 Williams Sorcerer. I have, if you're following the little video series, I replaced the battery with some non-volatile RAM. I replaced the, not the battery, the memory chip, and used a battery eliminator. And then I started cleaning the game up because it appeared to be working fine. I started cleaning the game up and gave it a first coat of wax, and now I've put LEDs in it so you can see it's all nicely situated. I've used a combination of cool and warm white frosted LEDs, and I think they came out really good. I'll clean this up, it's going to look even nicer. But I wanted to show you what happened while I was working. Now the game appeared to be almost fully functional, but after I started cleaning it and replacing all the LEDs, something strange started happening. So take a look at this. Okay, we can start a game as normal. So throw a game into play. And I notice that the drop targets up front are not resetting. This pop-up is not working, but watch what happens. And the game kind of gets stuck like that. You have to turn it off and then turn it back on, and every time I start the game it keeps doing that. So I was like, what's going on here? The game just freaks out. It's stuck in a particular mode. Don't know what the problem is. Okay, so let's take a look at underneath the playfield. I'm thinking, okay, something's off. So I discovered that if I reset the drop target bank, the game would go back to playing normally, but the drop target bank was not resetting. So then I went around and I checked all the coils, and there was about 4 or 5 coils that were not firing. So when you see a bank of coils that just suddenly stop working, the first order of business is to check a fuse. Now, I did have the game on when I was putting the LEDs in there so I could see how they looked. And I wondered, would I touch something and short something out? Checked all the fuses were good. Still couldn't figure out what the problem was. So then I started going from coil to coil. There was a, let me see if I can show you here. There's the drop target bank coil right here. This was out, and then this is the other pop-upper that was out. There's some burn marks on here. But I put the meter on it, and the resistance and everything looks good. So I just started going from coil to coil, and then I got over to the slingshot coil. I'll show you. See if you notice anything. And this is where I saw this. We've got a loose wire right here. So what I figure is the 50-volt power for the coils is daisy-chained across all of these coils. And so the power feed broke right here. So this is the last coil in the line that was fed. So if you see a bunch of coils that go out, and there's not a fuse blown, and there's no sign of anything blown in the back box, you start looking underneath the playfield, and this is what happened. This wire here was feeding power to this coil, and then it probably goes to these other coils. So I surmise that if I fix this right here, I'll be able to get it to work again. So let's try that. Grab my trusty soldering iron, which is always nearby. And I don't really have this set up conveniently for me, so I'm glad this is not on camera and you cannot see this precarious arrangement where I've got the soldering iron leaning up against me. Okay, so let's put a little solder on this guy. Okay, here's the wick dipped per se. And I can tell which wire this goes to because this is the same color wire on this lead. So this is the power feed. Oh! Ouch. Okay. I should unplug that. There's still a little heat in there. You! All right. I have the game turned off, and I got a little bit of voltage in that. So I'm going to be a little bit extra careful with this now. I was holding that whole spool of solder, and I became a conductor for it. So there's still some power, residual power in the system. See if I can get this thing to stick. All right. Yeah, I conducted a little bit of energy there. I don't know why. That's never happened to me before where I mean, the game was off, but there are some capacitors all over underneath the playfield. I haven't done a whole lot of work on System 9s. So, okay. This is back connected. Check that out. There you go. I got electrocuted on camera. At first I thought maybe it was just a little, like it was a nerve cramp or something. And then the second and third time I realized, okay, no, there's some power there. Okay. Now let's turn it on and see if it worked. Hopefully I didn't fry anything else. This is live, so we'll see. All right. All right. So now we want to let's check the this pop bumper. Yes. Slingshot's working. Okay, so the coils that we're not firing are now firing. So let's see. There we go. All right, let's see if the multi-ball fires. There we go. All right. So that worked out okay. So there's a quick little demo of what happens, whenever you're fiddling around underneath this play field, there's a possibility that something can come loose. So when I was re-LEDing everything, somehow I knocked that power lead off of the coil, and that caused several coils to go out. So you always got to keep an eye on things. I don't care how long you've been doing this, sometimes that weird stuff will happen. And as you can see, sometimes when you're trying to solder onto a terminal, even with the thing off, I did notice that the plug to the machine is not grounded, so I'm going to replace this power cord on this too. That could also have something to do with why I got a little bit of voltage there when I was soldering on that terminal. So, note to self, don't do that again. Anyway, there you have it. Another little quick fix to when stuff stops working and how to diagnose it. For more, visit PinballHelp.com. Thank you guys for watching.